on, everybody? Welcome back to Redriveraviation. Hope you guys had a fantastic day today. And today we have the September 2023 Tulsa International Airport update for you guys. I really hope you guys are excited for today's video. Today we have a very exciting update in store. Today, everybody, is a brand new era of the Tulsa Model Airport, as today we debut the brand new model airport display for Tulsa International Airport. And my goodness, what a way to kick off this new era for the Tulsa Model Airport. My goodness. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today is a monumental day, as this has been something that I've been looking forward to for literally years now. I've wanted to do this for well over 5 years, and today we have a brand new model airport display, by far the most realistic on my channel to this point, and I'm really excited for this. As like I said, this has been something that I've been looking very forward to doing. I've had many aspirations, and it's just so cool to finally be to this point to be able to represent this Tulsa International Airport display. It's a testament to hard work. It's a testament to all of you supporting my channel, which I can't thank each and every one of you enough, as your support significantly contributed to this project, and it certainly took a bunch of time to save up for this, as this was not a cheap display by any means. This came in at about $1,250 for the terminal and mat, as we'll talk about here in a moment, and I made a full video on it, so feel free to check it out. I think it came out yesterday as the time of posting this, but nevertheless, it's such a surreal feeling to be here, and I'm really excited for this, as it just looks absolutely fantastic. So in today's airport update, we have 3 main components to today's airport update. We're going to be talking about the new display and going over all the characteristics, such as the airport terminal, the mat, and everything in between. We're of course going to do the full-fledged airport update, talking about what all the airlines and aircraft changes are, and last but certainly not least, we'll be talking about all the Tulsa International Airport news, as there's been so much going on between the last time I filmed the Tulsa update, which filming wise was in July of 2022, and of course till now September of 2022 or 2023. Goodness God, gotta get my head in the right spot here. So nevertheless, I'm so excited for this, and I hope you guys are as well. And without any further delay, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start by doing the actual airport update, and we'll kind of tease at some of the characteristics of the new airport and mat. Following that, we'll talk about all the airport news, and we'll round out today's airport update by going into some more detail on the mat itself. So like I said, I hope you guys are excited for this. What an exciting time. And without any further delay, as per usual, we're going to start over here with the Southwest Airlines gates, because it's only fair to after months of doing so, and it's a very exciting time. So let's go ahead and get started, everybody. And of course, the camera has to go in macro mode for this really special debut. So here we go. Starting right here, gate Bravo number 1, we have the Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-700. This aircraft's in the Heart livery with the Scimitar winglets. This aircraft's currently coming in from the Houston Hobby International Airport, and now it's going to be heading over to the Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. So it's been really cool to see how much Southwest has progressed here at Tulsa International Airport as of late. Of course, we're going to be getting Las Vegas double daily coming up soon. We also have Orlando Saturday only returning here very soon. So it's been really awesome to see. So I'm looking very forward to seeing where the progression goes here. I think Southwest is doing a really good job, and we'll talk about them more here in just a moment. So this Southwest 737 coming in from Houston Hobby, now it's heading over to Phoenix. Our next aircraft up at the gate right here is the Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-800. This aircraft's also in the Heart livery with the Scimitar winglets. This aircraft's coming in from Chicago Midway today, and now it's going to be making a nonstop service next out to Las Vegas. So really cool to see both those routes continuing to do really well. As I was just referring to, Las Vegas will be going to double daily. I believe that starts next month. So that is really exciting, and I'm looking very forward to that. Really significant change, as having 2 daily Vegas services will be very cool. And of course, Chicago Midway continuing to thrive with 2 daily services here in September. So we certainly love the effort, and I'm really excited to see where it goes from here. So like I said, this aircraft's going to be heading over to Las Vegas after coming in from Chicago Midway. And then we have our special livery here today. Currently loading up right here, gate Bravo number 5. We have the Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-700 in the Louisiana 1 livery. Excuse me. Now, I know that this aircraft does have Scimitar winglets in real life, but this is the airplane shop exclusive. I probably do need to add Scimitars to make it more realistic. I was hopeful that somebody would do it at this point, but we are here in August of September now of 2023. Get head locked in straight. And as you can see, we have the blended winglet here. So nevertheless, this aircraft is currently coming in from the Dallas Love Field International Airport, and now it's going to be making a continuing service. This aircraft is going to be heading over to the Austin Bertram International Airport. It was really cool recently to get to see this aircraft come into Tulsa on August 18th, I believe it was, and it also came in the following week as well. So it's certainly been making plenty of appearances here at Tulsa, and it was really cool to get to see it and capture it up close and personal and some beautiful lighting. It's truly a great aircraft, also up close and personal thanks to the visitor pass, which we'll talk about some more towards the end of the video. But ultimately, Southwest doing a very good job as always, and those services continue to speak volumes for them and what they're doing. So again, this aircraft is currently coming in from Dallas Love Field, and now it's going to be heading over to Austin. And then currently just got pulled into the hard stand over here. We have the Southwest Airlines Boeing 737-800. Here at Bravo 7, this aircraft just got pulled into the hard stand. I need to elevate the camera so you can really get a good view of the apron here. I've been trying to balance it out between the concourse and the apron. Anyways, this aircraft just got pulled into the gate after coming in from Denver about an hour ago on the overnight service. This aircraft, like I said, is coming in from Denver. 3 daily, going really well on that service. Been certainly very glad to see the progression there, and I think they're doing a really good job with that. So like I said, this aircraft's coming in from Denver right now, and will be heading back out there in the morning. Okay, excuse me. Bravo 9 certainly has some significant changes right here, as you can see. Typically, I would have a Breeze Airways aircraft here, and we do have a Breeze aircraft in today's airport update. But currently here at Bravo 9, we're going to be using our common use gate as United today. So right here, currently deplaning here at gate Bravo 9, we have this United Express Bombardier CRJ-700 on the behalf of SkyWest Airlines. First time we've had a SkyWest CRJ-700 in here in a very, very long time. This aircraft's currently coming in on the second night service here from Denver, arriving around 11:15 p.m. right now. Certainly very cool to get to see this aircraft in today's airport update. So during the full summer, United sent their mainline service in on the late evening service and had an earlier service on a regional jet. Now we're flopping that around, as most people would like to come in earlier in the day during the fall, winter, and spring months. Well, not, you know, it just depends obviously, but that's why we kind of reshuffled you know, obviously the same capacity, but we reshuffled the aircrafts here. So this aircraft's coming in on the last flight in from Denver, which is awesome. It's really cool to see how successful they've been on that service, and they can facilitate 2 overnight flights on it, which is really cool, and certainly speaks volumes about what they're doing. So really cool to see that. So United has been using gate Bravo 9 on their overnight services. They were using gate Bravo 4, but we're going to talk about why they haven't, because Southwest was using B9 there for a little bit, and I even deplaned out of it. But nevertheless, we will talk about what's actually going on here in a moment once we get over to gate B4, so stay on the lookout for that. But like I said, this aircraft's currently coming in right now from none other than Denver, and we'll be heading back out there. We're actually going to switch gears real quick and talk about Breeze, ironically enough. Man, today we got a very exciting day for Breeze. We'll go ahead and get started with the good news. We do have a little bit of bad news, but it's not too bad because we have some very exciting good news. So the good news is a brand new service right here for Breeze Airways, or I guess technically a re-inaugural if you'd like to call it that. But right here we have the Breeze Airways Airbus A220-300. This aircraft's currently making the re-inaugural or inaugural service, whichever you'd like to call it, out to the New Orleans International Airport, MSY. So how exciting is this? This route is starting on September 22nd. This will be a twice weekly service on Fridays and Mondays utilizing the Airbus A220-300 equipment, and it is certainly very exciting for all Tulsa passengers, along just in general for Breeze. This is really cool. So for context, Breeze Airways started service to Tulsa in June of 2021, starting with 3 services: San Antonio, New Orleans, and Tampa. As you can tell, all 3 of which unfortunately got terminated for various reasons. San Antonio was overflown and didn't get enough time to recover out of the pandemic, was the main reason for that termination. Tampa was honestly a really silly one. It shouldn't have got terminated. It was a very good route, posting over 80% load factors on a regular basis, so I can't really fathom that one. And then New Orleans was kind of the oddball in between both those. It was overflown a little bit, but also had enough demand to where it just needed a little bit more time. Breeze Airways recognized that demand and brought back the route, of course, September 22nd, 2023, now on a twice weekly basis on their largest equipment type, the Airbus A220. I'm really optimistic about this route. I'm hopeful they can do well with it, considering that they're selling prices, the tickets at really low prices that certainly, hopefully, will fill up seats. So I do intend to be a part of the inaugural flight and planning, I should say. So hopefully I will be able to do that and, you know, come back in October and give all of you the rundown on what's going on here. Hopefully it's a full flight. We'll have to see. Of course, these A220s hold quite a few people, so it certainly wouldn't surprise me if we don't go out full the first time, but hopefully they will do really well. This also isn't particularly the peak season for New Orleans, unfortunately. Well, rather I should say all the peak season for all the routes, typically, generally speaking, is the summer months, so I'm really hopeful that they can facilitate this and make it well. Unfortunately, we are losing our Orlando direct flight in favor of this. So now it will be a breeze through to Orlando. The breeze through will be executed with 40 minutes on the ground in New Orleans, and then the plane continues on to Orlando. So it's really unfortunate to lose the Orlando nonstop, as it was very successful. I don't know when we will be getting it back. Hopefully we will be. I think it's certainly very possible, considering how well it performed. It went out full very regularly, excuse me, the byproduct of just having dinner. Anyways, I'm really excited about this service, and I'm very hopeful that we can continue to facilitate breeze here at Tulsa International Airport, despite their several hiccups and discontinuing routes like the aforementioned Tampa and San Antonio, along with Nashville as well. I'm very optimistic here. I think Breeze can pull this off. Certainly would love to see Tampa and Orlando added back, and hopefully some newcomers to the party as well in the future. They certainly have a bunch of logistics to figure out, especially in terms of their profit. Well, rather I should say their financial issues, because they're not profiting. That is on passenger operations, but nevertheless, pretty crazy stuff right here. And they typically here, unfortunately, don't do a water can salute at Tulsa due to, unless it's a really special occasion. But we found out Aviation Day that there's some sort of, I'm forgetting what it was, but there's something inside of the fire trucks when they spray out the water that they have to clean up or refill or something, that made it really challenging to do water can salutes. So that's why I wouldn't expect one here, and why we typically don't get one. Of course, they did one when Breeze initially came, because that was a really big occasion, but it's still awesome to see this route re-inaugurated. It's certainly a testament to Tulsa International Airport and the work here, and I'm really, really excited about more new services that we'll be talking about very soon here in today's airport update. But certainly very excited to see Breeze's nonstop service to New Orleans return, and I'm very hopeful that we're here for the long haul this time, as I would love to see Breeze continue to evolve on their operation here at Tulsa International Airport, and I certainly think they're more than capable of doing so. So I'm really excited about this new service. We'll talk about it a little bit more towards the end of the update, but we still have so much to cover, so let's go ahead and keep progressing. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back over here to Concourse B, where we're currently here at remote stand number B11. Right here we have the United Express Embraer ERJ-175 in the Evo Blue livery. This aircraft came in from Houston Intercontinental earlier ago on the 8 p.m. arrival today. They're also overnighting 2 Houston flights, so that's currently what we're representing here. So it's really cool to see that, and how they're utilizing all these hard stands. Southwest utilizes a hard stand, United utilizes a hard stand, American utilizes several hard stands. So it's really cool to see how many hard stands are getting utilized, and of course the common use gates, as we talked about, and we'll talk about that more here in a moment. But really cool to see this. So in August, this was the Mesa Sierra 900 overnight on the Denver service, but now the Houston flight, because they were keeping the other Houston flight, not the mainline, the other one over there at gate Bravo 6, and they were parking the Chicago flight at gate B9. But now they're parking the second Houston flight in the hard stand, which I think is pretty cool. So they're bouncing it around quite a bit. It's certainly really cool to see how that's depicted and everything. So I've really enjoyed keeping up with that, and I'm really excited to see what's to come. So really cool to see, of course, in this really nice hard stand. I wish we had a jet bridge here. You can see that little GeminiJets gate piece that I put right here. I know it's not perfect, but that is representing the knob piece that they have for gate B11, because they have this little hallway, because it typically, this would probably be flipped around, but nevertheless, it comes out right here is where the gate did come out. So maybe we'll get the gate back here one day. We'll have to see. But Tulsa is expanding rapidly with more overnight services, one of which will be a new route that we talk about here in a moment. So something's going to have to give, in other words. So we'll see what happens. I know we are getting a new gate with the international facility, the FIS facility, that we'll talk about here in a moment. But certainly we are expanding at a rapid rate, and whether that's a new concourse facility or what it's going to be, who knows, but we certainly will be needing something to give here pretty soon. So nevertheless, looking really good there, and that's what we love to see. It is Continental Globe Day here at Tulsa International Airport, as you can see. So currently loading up right here at gate Bravo 10, or deplaning I should say, we have this United Airlines Airbus A319-100. This is coming in on the first overnight service in from Denver, arriving around 8 p.m. Central Time. Really cool to see that the mainline service is back to the earlier overnight, as they had it flip-flopped for the summer, which I think this is a smart choice on United to flip around and facilitate all the passengers that would like to come in earlier, considering that it's obviously fall and the days are shorter and all the various various reasons, obviously work and school and all the above. So this is really cool. It's an Airbus A319 this month, and I'm sure they'll have plenty of A320s to go with it. Really glad to see Denver continuing to be super successful with all these different flights that they have on it, and I'm really excited to see where it goes from here. So really cool to see this. This is really great, and United's doing a really good job. Flew with them recently several times. They've done a great job, and I'm excited for more segments here to come in the very near future. So this United A319, like I said, it's coming in from Denver, and we'll be heading back out there in the morning. At gate Bravo number 8, we have the United Airlines Boeing 737-900. This aircraft's coming in for the Houston George Bush Intercontinental International Airport on the, they kept Houston as the late night arrival, and then of course they have that 175 come in earlier. So this aircraft arrives around 11:30 p.m. still. So certainly a different logic here with the Houston flight, as there's so many passengers out of that Houston hub that they need the 737-900 on the evening flight. So that's what they have here. Denver can bounce around a little bit, and United just picks and chooses. The demand's always there. It just depends on how they want to format it, and obviously comes down to aircraft availability and all the above. So that's what we're seeing here with the 737-900, of course. Great looking aircraft in the Continental Globe livery. Really glad to see how successful they've been with Houston, and I'm excited for the progress to be made on that service. One daily mainline is really great, and who knows, maybe we'll even get a second. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what United does here at Tulsa International Airport. United did have planned 2 daily mainlines earlier in the summer. They unfortunately pulled back on that, which is unfortunate, but they got to do, demand's really hard to predict sometimes. So it's awesome that they did start there, but obviously they pulled back to just 1, which is certainly sufficient. It's not like they're taking away a bunch of capacity. 2 daily mainlines to Denver would have been really impressive. And quite frankly, if I'm being just completely honest, I don't know how well 2 of them would have performed. They're doing great with 1, 2 would have been pushing it. So hopefully aviationdb.com gets updated soon so I can get some updated load factors, as we still have April numbers. It is September, so it's time for an update. But nevertheless, looking great there at gate Bravo number 8. At gate Bravo number 6, we have our 30 United service. This is the Express 175 on the behalf of SkyWest Airlines. This aircraft's coming in from the Chicago O'Hare International Airport. We'll be heading back out there. I think we're facilitating 3 daily 175s this month, which is really impressive. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a mainline on it sometime. That would be a really big stride here, and really kind of slap American in the face if they did get that far. Wichita is facilitating a 319 overnight, which is really impressive. So we will see if Tulsa can follow suit. I certainly think it's possible. I think it would be fantastic. 3 mainlines on the ground is kind of unheard of. 2 of them is already impressive enough, but 3 would be quite the talent show. So hopefully we'll get there. We'll just have to keep trusting the process, and I'm sure we'll get there sometime. But nevertheless, this is looking really great, and I think they're doing a really good job. So let me scoot over the mat here so we can get some good lighting on our next aircraft. Chicago's doing really well, by the way. They're filling up those planes easily. So I certainly think some more frequencies or aircraft up gauges is certainly possible in the future. Currently hanging out right here at Bravo 4. This is a complete oddball. I was shocked the first time that I saw this. I was coming in from Chicago on American and saw this at the gate, and I was really surprised. I was dumbfounded. Southwest at gate Bravo 4, it's a huge head scratcher, but this 737-800 is currently making a nonstop service today, coming in from St. Louis, Lambert Field, I think it is, International Airport. And the one destination Orlando's not back yet. Orlando's coming back next month. So this aircraft's coming in from St. Louis. So the first time it came in, it was late July, and I looked out. We were taxiing. Really even should have happened, but we landed on a 2-6, which was already interesting enough. We were taxiing back right here, and I see this Southwest over here at B4. So I was like, WTF, what are we doing? And then I went over there to check, and indeed they have the boarding position stanchions, or whatever you'd like to call them, over there. The stanchions that they have, where they just put up, they're like rectangular cardboard boxes. It's really funny. I'll see if I can insert a picture if I don't forget. But they're pretty funny. So they end up inserting those, and indeed Southwest is using 8B4 now. Now, my logic was, B9's right here. It's on the Southwest side. Why don't we have all the Southwest planes lined up together? But then, United started taking it. I was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. One possible thought, I don't know if this was a contributing factor or not. It probably wasn't, but Breeze was getting in so late every single day on that Orlando flight for a long time. They were getting in as late as 9 o'clock some days, which is just bad. That the Southwest flight may have been too close to keep taking this gate, and with the later United arrivals, maybe that's why they chose to do it. But they fully rebranded, or not rebranded, I should say. They fully repurposed it. So these are all common use gates. What common use gates are is that any airline could use it. So if Southwest still wanted to and it worked out, they could use it. But, you know, the airlines can still throw in there a little bit of branding if they would like to. So United, for instance, has put a "Thank you for flying with us" Star Alliance sign at gate B9 now, which is pretty interesting. And then Southwest, like I said, put up their stanchions over there at gate B4. So it looks like it's more of a permanent shift. I personally think, you know, here's how it should go. This remote stand should be flopped here, but then this is a legacy United gate. You know, it has all the branding on it, plus United themselves, not Continental. United has been using that gate for literally 4 or 5 decades. They've been there forever at this one gate. They didn't have these two. These two were originally actually Southwest gates back then, but United's been at this particular gate, so it'd almost be wrong for them to move out of the stand. In fact, you see on the mat, thank goodness that we have the mat to make some references now. The old apron here, this was gate number 56. This was the exact gate that United parked at. 737s, A319s, the whole nine. They parked it there. They flew that Denver route for a long time. Then, of course, they bounced back and forth with Chicago until that became permanent. And they even had Los Angeles right before the merger that they started, obviously since terminated. And then, of course, if I'm missing a service or two, I apologize. But nevertheless, they've been at this gate forever. So what do you do here? You know, you would think that the logical way to do this would be United would flop here with Southwest, or, you know, this is B2, doesn't have a bridge. You can't really use that. That's a remote stand only type gate. So, you know, I just think Southwest looks better here and put United there, keep it, you know, more, keep it more even compared to just random Southwest plane in there. But we can't complain too much. The fact that we're even to this point where the whole concourse is filled, typically at night, this aircraft's not here, so I'll just take it out. But we are literally 10 out of 11 stands occupied. So that just speaks for itself. It's super cool. And sorry for going on a tangent about that. I was really surprised when I saw it the first time because, again, what's the logic there in Southwest? I'm going to see if I can get this antenna back in. What's the logic in Southwest parking at 4 when, you know, United did it for, they got a couple of years going on that. And it worked well, and let me at least get the focus back in so you can watch this. But now we are facilitating Southwest at B4, so we'll see how long it lasts. And again, it's a common use gate, so anybody can use it. But what can I say, especially since I can't get this antenna back into this Mesa CRJ, which is our next aircraft up once I get it back in. There we go. See, this is just the life of tough times. I'm not going to criticize Gemini here because we've... you know, it's tough. What can I say? It's tough, and I'm just trying to get it straight out a little bit so it looks a little bit better. But what can you say? Aerials, sometimes you can argue they're out of skill gimmick. It's subjective. But nevertheless, let's get back to gate B2. So here at gate B2, we have on the remote stand a Mesa Airlines CRJ 900 operating for United Express. Now, the main reason that this is here today is because they randomly will just park Mesa 900s over here. I don't know if they break or what the logic is, but during Aviation Day, I think we may have came out of this exact door right here. I'm thinking that was the door. I will try to verify that. But I think it was this exact door, which the fact that I can get down to representing doors on my model airport is really special, and it speaks volumes about custom airport buildings and the work that they can do in conjunction with layover layouts, of course, because you can see how the parking positions line up there for our ground service equipment. But nevertheless, it was there. It was just sitting right there, which was really cool to see. And that was the only time that I think I've seen a Mesa 900 parked there. I just thought it was worth representing because, like I was referring to, Mesa was the plane that was overnighting here. The second Denver flight parked here, and it was a Mesa 900. So that was really cool. During one of the last flights of the month, it was only a couple weeks ago at the time of the recording, we pulled into B10, and then they towed the aircraft over here in favor of the mainline Houston or Denver flight. I'm not sure which one they would have ended up parking that night. I can't remember, but nevertheless, the practicality here is that they did do this a couple times. So I thought it'd be worth mentioning. And Mesa still flies here, of course, regularly to Denver and Houston. It's just not in that late night flight. Now it's SkyWest that's taking the keys on that for the season. So anyways, looking great. Very glad to see that there, and that's doing absolutely fantastic. Okay, after all of that, we can finally progress into the A concourse. I'll talk about Allegiant here in a minute once we get there. And in fact, we're getting there right now, but I'll talk about this Allegiant particularly here more in a moment. let me bounce back over here. So currently hanging out at gate Alpha 3, and I promise I'll give a better view of the apron here towards the end of the update. We have the Allegiant Air Airbus A319-100 in the old livery. This aircraft's currently coming in from the Las Vegas Harry Reid International Airport. This aircraft's arriving in around 11:45 p.m. today. Very glad to see Las Vegas continuing to do great on their Monday, Friday service. They continue to do really well with that, and I'm very excited to see what the future holds for Allegiant on that service. So looking very good for Allegiant, and that's looking absolutely fantastic. So yeah, so 11:45, keep that number in mind. So let's bounce back over here to hard stand number 5. Now you can see the hard stands on this mat are so much more realistic than what I had. So you're probably wondering, first off, why the Allegiant A319 is not on the actual line. It didn't park on the actual line when I saw this exact instance happen. I don't know why it didn't park on the line, because you would think it would be parked just on the line like that somewhere, but it ended up parking straight up north and south like that. So currently right here we have the Allegiant Air Airbus A319-100. This aircraft arriving in from the Destin-Fort Walton Beach International Airport. This aircraft was scheduled to arrive in at 12:45 p.m., but arrived very early at 12:20 p.m. So the Allegiant flight from Las Vegas came in on time, but it obviously takes them an hour to get the plane fully loaded up and boarded and then pushed back, of course. So that takes till 12:45. So what happens if the 12:45 flight comes in early? Well, they can't use another gate because they have the Unified Ground Crew as their contracted ground handling service. So, of course, they just have to wait on the next one because, Allegiant staggers their flights to where, for the sake of the ramp agents, the ticket counter, the check-in counter, so on and so forth, it makes more sense to have them back to back to back instead of all these random intervals. Well, it's interesting because I don't know why you would do it within an hour, because the plane's scheduled to leave at 12:45, and Destin weather during this time of the year is pretty good. So, and all the other factors that go into that. So this aircraft's going to get in early every day. So, and it has. So my logic is, which is ironic to say with Allegiant at this point in time, but my logic is, why would you not make it more like an hour and 15 or an hour and 30 blocks? So you do 12 or 11:45, 1 o'clock, 2:15, or 12:45, 1:15, and 2:30. So the aircraft, if it does arrive 20 minutes early, can snag the gate. I don't really get the logic, but it had to sit here for, it was getting close to 30 minutes. I used the visitor pass to watch it because I was going to go back out to spot the Sun Country landing on a charter, but then I saw that Allegiant was going to be at the gate and Destin was early, so I was like, I have to see what they're going to do here. And in fact, as I predicted, I was like, they're going to go to the hard stand. There's no way they're going to park at another gate, even though there are other common use gates. But again, they have to utilize their ground service and the gate ticket counter, and you don't want to get the other passengers confused, since you already announced it's going to be Alpha 3. That's the gate Allegiant parks at Tulsa International Airport. And sure enough, they end up coming to the hard stand for 30 minutes. So, when the pilots make that announcement, the good news is we're here. The bad news is we don't have a gate, at Tulsa International Airport when you have, 5 open gates at any given time, excluding night ops, is kind of sad, but what can you do about it? So this Allegiant A319 is currently waiting on a gate, even though all the American gates were open. But what can you do about it? So this is where it comes down to staggering times better. The logic of back to back to back makes a bunch of sense. What doesn't make sense is why it's only an hour interval, because the flights are going to get in early. Los Angeles comes in at 1:45, so it's a little bit different because that flight's not usually 20 minutes early, and some days it actually is, which is really impressive. But still, the fact of the matter is, I would either, if I was Allegiant, get another gate so this doesn't happen, but that's obviously more crew, more staff, so on and so forth, which they're not really needing of that here. Just plan the times a little bit better. It may not have been possible, whatever the case. I just thought that this was too good of an example not to mention. And when it does come in exactly on time, it works well, but this flight's been early every single time. Los Angeles has been early more times than not. So again, why don't you just make enough time to where you just avoid it? And the Allegiant networkers, the Allegiant network people, they probably don't know all these little details and everything about Tulsa and why, just as a rule of thumb, generally speaking, as long as there's no external problems, you would presume that this would be, it would be possible that this could be done. I'm sorry, these boxes ended up covering the Allegiant. You would think it would be possible that you wouldn't have this problem. So nevertheless, certainly very fascinating at the very least, but what can you do about it? Allegiant's looking very good. All right, back over to our Alpha gates in some spectacular lighting. Let's go for a little bit of the concourse view and then afterwards, after we talk about the news, I will give you more of a head-on perspective of all this. So current loading up right here at Alpha 5, we have this American Airlines Boeing 737-800. This aircraft's coming in from the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport on the 10 p.m. arrival. Looking very good here for American. Certainly glad to see how well they've been doing with all the Dallas services they've had. Currently overnighting 2 regional jets, surprisingly, which is, not completely surprising considering you're going dead into fall, but also a little bit surprising considering that, some of the winter flights are going to have all mainline, which is kind of crazy. But nevertheless, certainly glad to see the frequencies and American balancing it all out. So looking good for them, and looking good there at Alpha 5. Dallas continues to thrive. Certainly our flagship route, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. So American to Dallas. Dallas number 2 is going to be the CRJ-900 on the behalf of PSA Airlines. So really cool that this model is actually PSA. So this is actually completely realistic here at Gate Alpha 7. Really cool to see this flight today, as the CRJ-900 is a really nice airplane for PSA. So I think this certainly fits the build very well. And really glad to see how well they've been doing there. So that's looking fantastic, and good job there by American Airlines on that particular situation. And Dallas number 3 is going to be this Embraer 175, so they're not sending an aircraft out at 8:30 anymore, which I thought was kind of late to begin with, 8:17 if you want to be particular, whatever time it was in the evening. So this flight has turned into overnight since, so it gets in at like 7:45 p.m. now, and then overnights, which is about the right time. And, the other logic here, as well as to why these might be regional jets, is so the fact that you can use your mainline planes on the bigger cities. And the logic is, my thought would be, why don't you send the 175 in at, there's a bunch of logistics here, so some of this may not be possible, but my thought is, and here goes my airport operations brain once again, airline networking, all the deals. Why don't you send the 175 in at 5:30 p.m. and send it out at 6:30 p.m. completely loaded instead of the 737, which is what they've been sending out. In the summer, that works, but where I got frustrated in the summer is that American would send a 175 back to Dallas at 8:17 p.m. They'll probably send it to another smaller city on the evening flight, which, again, that works well, but why don't you send it at 6:30? Because the 737 usually went out really full at 6:30 p.m. so everybody could make it to their, go to work and then make it to wherever they were going. And then the 175 goes at 8:17. I'm just like, that's too late. And they even pulled off pretty good load factors considering the circumstance. The inbound was awesome. The inbound was always full, obviously, because that's a good time to get back like 7:30 or whatever time. But it's a head scratcher. What can I say? But now that they're overnighting it, that's certainly more practical, even though it would be nice for it to get to another city a little bit later in the day, but you can't send out a plane that late in the day. So it's kind of a forfeit for the airline. You either have to send the plane back empty, which is what Delta does quite a bit on the 717 there, because the inbound's so good, or you just overnight it, which it doesn't go to another city after that. So it's all trade-offs, but yeah, my thought would be to send the I'm sorry, I forgot to finish my thought. Send the 175 in here, right? Send it in at and then send it out at 6:30, and then bring the 737 overnight at like 8 p.m. That's what they did with 757, and it worked really well. So anyways, we'll talk about that more in another video. That's another topic for another time. I'm just really impressed that, and there could be circumstances to it, like everything else in today's society. But again, it's just like, why did you send the 175 out at 8:30 p.m.? It's a really cool concept. Don't get me wrong. I think it's really cool to have a flight leave that late out of an airport of this size, but just not practical. Now, Southwest service to Denver at 7:30 p.m. That's a completely different story, completely different topic. Denver's a completely different place than Dallas, but we're done talking about that. That was a little extensive, but nevertheless, I had to get that off because it's just, I just saw it several times during summer, and I couldn't fathom it to a degree when it was only had 30 people on board. Anyways, that's enough. Hello, brand new model alert, new model alert. Right here we have the Republic Airways Embraer 175. So a real 175 finally in the airport update. This aircraft's coming in from the New York LaGuardia International Airport. This gate was at the American CRJ-900 gate, and as you can see, has just got towed into the hard stand here at Alpha 11, and it'll get towed back over to the hard stand for its departure in the morning. So very glad to see the Republic 175 model get made. It's been so cool to see GeminiJets make the Mesa CRJ-900, the SkyWest CRJ-700, the Republic 175, among other house livery airplanes. I think it adds a really nice variety. The Republic one obviously is very simple. You just have the tail there. It has a little bit more characteristic than the Mesa one, I would say. But certainly you can see the basic characteristics that it presents. certainly very glad to have this new model here. And yes, technically we have a realistic 175 Republic now. So this is really nice to see. I think, again, really nice model. Very glad to have it in today's, or rather I should say, this is the, not substitute, but the closest we can get to an American 175 with normal winglets. So this is a realistic normal winglet 175, because obviously I've been using the 175 normal winglet with the 170 over there pulling into the gate. So it is very cool to see that we have this now, and I think it's really awesome. Good looking plane, and I'm really excited to see where it goes from here. So yeah, again, new LaGuardia going great. We have some big news on LaGuardia here in a minute. Wasn't completely an oddball, but certainly I did not expect it in the moment. So we'll talk about it more here in a minute. An airline in the very back of the frame is about to get a huge shout out. But we have 2 more American Airlines aircraft to assess before we get there. Taxiing in the gate Alpha 10, we have this American Eagle Embraer 170. This aircraft's coming in for Envoy Air today from Chicago O'Hare International Airport. This aircraft, some days it comes in the evening, some days it doesn't. I don't know what the logic is for American when it does and doesn't come in the evening. I need to look a little bit closer in the days, but some days we have a Chicago overnight, other days we don't, which is pretty fascinating to me. So certainly cool to see it on today's schedule, and this aircraft's currently getting ready to dock up. Just arrived here and will be taking the gate any moment. They even got a fuel truck ready for them. So looking very good on that service right there. We have this American Airlines Boeing 737-800 with the logo on the winglet. This aircraft currently docked up here at Gate Alpha 8 on the hard stand. This aircraft came in from Charlotte on the 6:30 p.m. arrival, and we'll be heading back out there in the morning. So I'm thinking this is where they park it. The flight comes in the gate. I think it was, I think it might have been Alpha 9. I think they parked it at Alpha 9, but they had to move it because the 175 came in the Alpha 9 as well. So I'm thinking this is where they could have put it. There's also a possibility, pretty slim, but there is a possibility they're using one of these hard stands over here, and they're going to have to start doing that if they continue to get more flights in here, because Phoenix is going to be getting 2 overnights, and then of course we got Charlotte with the overnight, then LaGuardia. Washington's not overnight anymore, which is awesome for not only the route, but the logistics of that. There's times of the year where Austin's overnight as well, so on and so forth, and we'll talk about all those details here a little bit more in a moment, but nevertheless, that is exactly what he's doing right there. Also, I need to intervene. Let's see. We'll actually come back to it. I actually am 175 short in today's airport update for Americans, so we'll have to make some exceptions here, and you'll see what I do. So it's going to get a little crazy, but you'll see how I pull this off. Okay, before we even get to the planes and the orders all jacked up and everything, because Delta's kind of went wacko after their big announcement, Delta service to New York LaGuardia will be officially beginning on May 8th, 2024. Oh my gosh, what a curveball for Delta. So after months of, I wouldn't say, I'm trying to think of the word I want to use, because I was never like, Delta's not going to do anything, but Delta's not going to do anything. After months of no confidence with Delta in terms of expanding, because, they were steady, slow but steady, with the 717 and the 175. Speaking of the 175, how awesome is that about to be? Oh man, it just gets better by the moment. So Delta started New York LaGuardia. Yeah, Delta's that's wraps for Delta in my books. I'm beyond satisfied with them for doing that. That's awesome. Huge get for Tulsa. Now having 2 airlines fly between Tulsa and New York. So of course, American Airlines started their service about a year ago now, and it's been going great. One of their most profitable stations in the whole New York LaGuardia network. And Delta, because I was like, I'm thinking American's possibly going to add a second daily flight. That's what they have in Northwest Arkansas, which is a similar market. So I was like, it's certainly possible that American's going to add a second daily, but Delta pretty much said F off, and they just went and picked up their flight. So this is a huge get for Delta. I think this is a perfect timing and really shoving in American's face. This will be the first route that Delta's competed on out of Tulsa in a very long time. They usually do not choose to compete against airlines out of smaller airports like this. Typically, all their routes are monopolies, because you got ATL, which at some airports they compete with Southwest, but not as many, and then SLC, which they really don't compete against anybody. So the fact that they're going head-to-head with American really speaks about how confident they are, because Delta is very particular in how they choose their routes. So, and I also did a full video on this, by the way, so feel free to check it out. But it is certainly very very impressive what Delta's going to be doing here, and I'm really excited for them. Can't thank them enough to their commitment to the Tulsa community. It's really speaks volumes about how Tulsa has progressed, and getting a new route from Delta, that is something I would not have predicted for 2023 for Tulsa. But again, I was like, well, you know, there's a little bit of optimism, but not much. I even said in previous Tulsa updates, if it's going to be a new route, it's going to be LaGuardia. It's not going to be Minneapolis. So, and that prediction certainly was absolutely correct. Again, it's going to be a while next May, but that's kind of nice because, you know, it gives us something to look forward to for a significant amount of time. It also gives another carrier a chance to come in and snipe a new route as well. So now we go from having no New York service to 150 both ways a day, which is pretty much our demand. So that's awesome. And I hate giving Oklahoma City shout outs because I don't love that airport and how they operate it in terms of the interaction, particularly on social media, but just they have a magnitude of not problems. They're doing really well air service wise, but magnitude of lack of effort, I would say, that we could talk about here. But they are getting a second daily Delta service to complement their second daily American service. So I do give them shout outs, but it really speaks for the state of Oklahoma going from no New York service pre-pandemic to now 6 daily flights, 2 out of Tulsa, 4 out of Oklahoma City. So how awesome is that? It's really special, and I'm looking very forward to it here for Delta. I think it's going to be a huge get for the Tulsa community. I'm very hopeful to be on the inaugural. It will be Embraer 175, by the way, for Republic, which is awesome. So yeah, now we're getting back to 3 destinations for Delta. Of course, we had Minneapolis prior to the pandemic. That unfortunately was not able to make it back. It was so close, but just not quite there. And you know, this is a perfect replacement, in my opinion, both for Delta themselves and also for Tulsa. Minneapolis is a cool route, and it certainly has a nice network, although I think New York LaGuardia is a, you know, obviously it's a duplicate destination, but it's certainly a much better market for them. And, you know, it's nice to have something different. I like Minneapolis. I hope to get it back sometime. Oklahoma City's doing great with it. But I would rather, I'm fine with LaGuardia. I'm very satisfied, and just having more Delta here. And it will be an overnight flight, similar times to American. It will come in at 8:30 p.m. in the evening and leave here at, I believe, 7:30 in the morning. So really great times. And yeah, now they're going to have to, I'm presuming they're going to use gate A3. That would be my best guess where Allegiant parks, because Allegiant obviously doesn't overnight, as of right now at least, and they probably won't ever. But nevertheless, it's really exciting, and I'm excited to see what they can do. It's just about as interesting here for the gates, because we talked about how consistent Delta was for months, and now they just completely changed the flow here. So yeah, the Delta CRJ 900 is back, and it's not from SLC, it's from Atlanta here. So here's the deal on this. So for a 2-week transition period, which is, I don't know why they're doing a transition period, Delta's flying 3 CRJ 900s a day from ATL to Tulsa, which is a big drop from 5 daily 717s. They'll be back, and the 717 will be back later in the month, and we have one in today's update to represent that. The reason here that it's a little bit, it's a transition period. I don't know what the logistics are here, and they're even flying the Delta CRJ 900 on Delta mainline numbers. It's so quick of a transition. There's like DL1201, which is typically 717's CRJ 900 right now. I don't know what the logic is, but the Delta CRJ 900 will be back on a regular basis for a couple months. It'll be flying 1 to 2 daily services for the next couple months. The morning flight for September, and then in October it will have a couple of additional flights in the early afternoon hours. I think it's pretty smart for Delta. It's just what I just said about them previously. Fly the capacity, don't overdo it. We already have the 717s, not like that got taken away from us. It's just the CRJ 900, which at this time a year ago, I think we had, it was either 3 or 4 717s. I want to say it was 3 for September, but I can't hold to it. It was certainly not any more than 4. So nevertheless, it's an additional flight. So I like to look at it like that. It's an additional frequency, which is huge. And then of course, 717 stays with the 4 daily. It's just, and then the other part is now it's parking at A6, which I don't know what we're doing here, because this has always been the SLC gate forever and always. Salt Lake City's parked here since the pandemic. Yeah, I even think before that. So I don't know what we're doing here. It's certainly interesting that now it's parking at A6. I don't know why. You know, A6 might be the only gate that can facilitate a CRJ. Maybe, I don't know. It's certainly an interesting thought though, regardless. Then at the same time, A6 hosted a 757. So I don't know what the logic is or what happened, but it's certainly interesting. So yeah, so this is the Atlanta flight. And again, this will be a 717 for the majority of the flights, but the CRJ hasn't been here on this flight in at least a year and a half. possibly 2 years. So I thought it was worth taking the time to recognize that, and certainly looking pretty interesting there regardless. So yes, Salt Lake City does move over the gate Alpha 4, where we have this Delta Embraer 175, Embraer 170 filled in for Embraer 175. Not for any longer though, or at least for the immediate future we'll have this, but the Delta Connection Embraer 175 1-400 scale has officially been announced as a future preview, which is kind of a shocker. I thought they would, just drop the bomb whenever, but no, they made it a future preview. What a get. GeminiJets, thank you so much. Their efforts lately have seriously been impressive. I know the quality of the models is subjective, but in terms of the popular models they've been getting after, it's certainly super, super cool, and we're really fortunate. So I'm looking very forward to that. We'll go more in detail on that on a different video at a different time, probably its own video at some point, but I'm looking very forward to that. And I'll finally get to quit saying substituting, because it won't be, because we'll actually have an Embraer 175 with enhanced winglets for Delta, which is critical because Delta is going to be flying the 175 from LaGuardia as well, which I think they have. I don't think they have any Republic ones with the enhanced winglets, but I could be wrong. However, I have been seeing some SkyWest 175s at LaGuardia lately, so maybe that will come in at some point. Anyways, though, at some point, maybe we'll get a normal winglet one, but whether I end up using the enhanced winglet or the 170 will be determined for the normal 175, kind of similar to American Story, but we'll see. I can't use the Republic House livery, unfortunately, because those all fly for American, at least at the moment, but we're still 9 months out from that. So we'll see what happens, but anyways, this aircraft's coming in from Salt Lake City. 2 daily services, looking great. The only change is that it's over here at Alpha 4 now, which is kind of a curveball, but nevertheless looking really good at that. So sorry for the extensive ramble on Delta, but they haven't changed anything in forever, so I think it was certainly more than reasonable to give them some spotlight, and we'll talk about it more here in a minute. Delta Airlines Boeing 717-200, I pretty much just explained everything about this, so it's coming in from Atlanta, of course. Glad to see its consistency, and really, really excited to hopefully fly on one very soon. So looking good there, and that's absolutely fantastic. And then here's an American Airlines Boeing 777-200ER. This aircraft's coming in for the Charlotte Dulles International Airport on a maintenance flight. It was a 9700 flight number coming in the evening at about 7:15 p.m. Really glad to see this aircraft. Certainly really cool that it's coming in here. No, it's not going to be taxiing on this side of the airport. I just didn't put the other mats out today that really facilitate and focus on the new display. We'll have those back in the coming months, and I need to redo them because I'm not going to put paper grass and paper aprons with this mat. I just can't do that. I think I can fathom paint. I don't think I can fathom the paper. So at some point, once life calms down a little bit, I'll be redoing that. But anyways, looking really good here on this aircraft. And here's the FedEx Express Boeing 767-300 freighter. This aircraft's taxiing into the ramp. All the cargoes are still flying, by the way. I just have one here for the sake of space. This aircraft's coming in from Memphis, of course, and we'll be heading back out there. Very cool to see Memphis continuing to do well. Of course, we got that evening flight from Oklahoma City that goes up to Memphis on the E300, and then the 767 in the mornings. So glad to see that, and that's looking really, really great. For the first time ever in a Tulsa update, we're going to have an aircraft fly to 4 destinations. I know it's not practical, period, but for the sake of the practicality at this moment, we have this aircraft flying 4 services. So this American Eagle Embraer 175 has just made a service in from Washington Reagan National Airport for Republic, and now flew to here, then went up to Miami, and then came back from Miami also as Republic, then came in from Phoenix as SkyWest, and went back to Phoenix, and then it's coming in from Los Angeles to SkyWest and back. So pretty much all 4 of those routes are all the 175. Pick and choose whichever ones you like if you want. So yeah, Reagan's now afternoon year round, which is really smart considering that the 5 a.m. flight really struggled on load factors this previous winter, so I think the evening works well, and the majority of the travelers on this route are getting reimbursed anyways, most likely, or can afford it. So works well there. Miami Saturday only, of course. We'd love to see that daily. The crew is working to make that happen, or at least expand on the South Florida service in some capacity. Wink, wink. Well, I hope you guys like the iPad here, as unfortunately my phone died. That's how long the videos got, so that it kind of happens. But nevertheless, so yeah, that route's doing really well. And then of course we have Phoenix, which like I was referring to is going to be 2 daily starting in November. Really looking forward to that. That should be absolutely awesome. So that's going to be really exciting, and I'm looking forward to that. And then of course we got Los Angeles, which has been doing really well, and LA is absolutely awesome. So looking good there, and that is going absolutely fantastic. And last but certainly not least, for American, we have their CRJ-700 right here. Really testing iPad zoom here, so just bear with me if the quality is certainly not ideal. But anyways, this aircraft is coming in right now from none other than the great airport of Austin Bertram International Airport, and we'll be heading back out there. We do have some very interesting news here on this service. So this route's going to be getting suspended from November until February. So the winter season, this route will be out. Not surprised, period. I think this is actually a really good choice for American. Southwest has kicked their butt on the service, period. There's really no easier way to put it than that. And so yeah, it's been a CRJ-700 and will be a CRJ-700 for the rest of its duration. So into next month, of course, and then it will be gone for a couple months, which I think is a smart choice. And then they'll be hopefully bringing it back. I hope they don't do tease where they have it scheduled and pull it out and all that. I'm not surprised, like I said. Andrew Perini, the chief operating officer, did bring up a really good point, though, that American's timing is it's really tough to do on this route. They brought it in at some really oddball times, really early morning hours and then the evening. And now they're doing a much better timing, even though it's leaving a little bit later at 7 p.m. It's much better than what they've had previously. It's a tricky route for them, and obviously Southwest has the ability out of Austin to pick their times to get after it. So certainly tough there for American, but hopefully they'll be able to pull it together there and have a more successful run when they bring the route back. So that'll be exciting to see it come back, and we'll certainly enjoy it while we have it here at this moment. And we do have a couple more aircraft over here on the other side before we get into plenty of news about Tulsa International Airport and also everything else that we're going to talk about here. So let's go ahead and take a broad look at those, shall we? Over there on the top, we have a Learjet 75. Sorry, that's not really one to focus. It wants to focus on Allegiant. That Learjet 75 is currently taxiing out from the on taxiway Charlie from the Atlantic facility. This aircraft is currently heading out to Las Vegas here to Reed after coming in earlier today from Austin Bertram, ironically enough, so looking very good there. And then we have a Legacy Hornet behind it. I know it's F-16, but I'm doing my best to represent the military. I need to work on shapeways, but it's kind of tough when you haven't been home very often. Right here we have this Legacy Hornet, is what I'm representing. This came in on August 17th. I got to see. That's the byproduct of trying to trust your iPad case to be a stand, because I'm not putting on a stand piece because of how, if I put it on the stand, it's going to be propped down too much. So I'm trying to put it on the base of it, and it was working pretty well there until it didn't. So anyways, though, the Legacy Hornet, really cool to see that. Went out to Albuquerque, New Mexico. No clue where it came in from, but that was a really, really cool catch, and was really fun to see that. So very awesome there, and that was a really cool catch. Okay, this update's already been extremely long, so I'll try to make the news as efficient as I can, but no promises. But I'll give you a nice view there of the airport while we talk about all the news here for Tulsa International Airport. So let's go ahead and get started. I already went into pretty immense detail on Delta's brand new service to New York LaGuardia, but that's so exciting. Really big get for Tulsa. I'm really, really excited about that, and that is absolutely awesome. So really excited about that. Check out my full in-depth video if you'd like a more detailed analysis of that. That was absolutely awesome. Yes, New Orleans for Breeze. Really excited about that as well. It's a big get. I'm really hopeful that the flight does well this time. Obviously, you know, considering the circumstance, we were still in the pandemic when the route had its opportunity there, and of course it didn't go very well, so hopefully this time around it goes a little bit better. So I'm very hopeful that that's what we'll see out of it this time. Aviation Day at Tulsa International Airport 2023 was so much fun. It was absolutely awesome. I would almost argue that was better than last year, even though we didn't get to tour the American Airlines maintenance facility in Southwest ground handling operations due to it being during the weekend, but we still got to do some outstanding plane spotting. Had a great presentation from Chief Operating Officer Andrew Perini. I was fortunate enough to get interviewed, which was really special, and we also got to check out some of the airport with the new special facilities that they have, so that was really cool. And we also got to check out some of the snow plows and what are they called? Dirt trucks and all the really cool equipment. So that was super fun and very much enjoyed. Aviation Day this year was great. Video will be coming at some point. I hate to say not soon because life lately has been crazy. We'll talk about it more in upcoming videos, and if you've been on Instagram, you can probably already get what I'm referring to, but it's been just absolutely insane. So but we'll continue to do our best. We have a bunch going on, but it is in my utmost plans to make that video as soon as possible.
We do have a really cool piece of art coming to the main entrance of Tulsa International Airport, the TSA checkpoint. The project is called Sunrising, so Tulsa International Airport dedicated $250,000 towards a new piece of art in the terminal. Tulsa doesn't have a flagship piece of art. They just have two pieces on the edges of the concourse here and over here. Actually, it's all over here, actually, I'm sorry, where they have a collection of art for various pieces. They've had that for an extended period of time, but over the last several years, they have set away some money to eventually get a flagship piece, and that's what this is going to be. This project is called Sunrising. It is 40 glass panels, all, I'm trying to think of the best way to word it. It's 40 gradient panels, all colored to represent the sequence from sunrise to sunset. So it's called Sunrising. So they picked a local Tulsa artist, and his inspiration was the sunsets and sunrises and how incredible they are from an airplane window typically around here. So he made 40 glass panels to really represent it. It's going to be super cool as they're going to be on a motor, so they'll spin around. And like I said, there's 40 of them. So each and every tile will represent a portion of the day, whether that's dawn, sunrise, midday, sunset, dusk. And probably the coolest part of it, honestly, is that there's not a single angle where you'll see the same color twice, which is really cool. So that's going to be really exciting. The estimated time of rollout is going to be June of 2024 for that. I'll keep you all updated on that, but that will be a really cool way to enter the airport and really see yourself off for your journeys. I think it's going to be great, and I'm really excited to document that once we get there next summer. So that'll be absolutely awesome. Tulsa International Airport has also debuted storytime sessions at the airport. Unfortunately, due to full capacity, I was not able to attend the first one. They actually completely filled up. I wasn't expecting it to be a capacity event, but it was. So that's the reason I learned my lesson on that. But that's really cool. They're doing it in conjunction with the Tulsa Library, and I think that's really cool. And they're telling a variety of stories, aviation related, and multiple themes. This will be going on during every Thursday, every single month going forward. So I'm hopeful to attend one and document that and see what that experience is all about. So that's really cool. And another way Tulsa International Airport is getting involved with the community. We launched Clear services in the TSA checkpoint, which is really exciting. So now Clear, if you don't know, is an accelerated security process similar to TSA pre-check, but through face recognition, I think fingerprints as well. I think it actually uses the eyes predominantly, but nevertheless, we had a lane open there. I think we're in the 50s of their airports, so they have 50 stations. I think we were somewhere in there for like 53 or something. I'm not sure which one particularly, but nevertheless, that is really exciting. That happened in late July. So now we have Clear facilities here, which is awesome. So Clear is a really cool service. It's very expensive, but it's certainly very expedited, especially at an airport like this. You just zip through. But a bunch of people around here were actually interested in Clear for their returning flights out of the bigger cities. So it's also cool that now they'll be able to utilize it out of their home airport. And for everybody visiting here as well, we have a bunch of business here, so people do visit. It's not like it's all locals, but majority locals. Anyways, point in case, it'll be really great for everybody. Let's talk about the FIS facility. So we've talked about the international extension piece that's going to go right here. That has been making very good progress. They're going to start construction this month if the bids were successful. I'll watch the board meeting when it comes out here in a couple of days and report back in October. And you'll probably see it on Instagram if it does get started this month. But nevertheless, it's about to get started. Really, really exciting. The renderings that we got during Aviation Day, it is an elite facility. It's going to be super exciting. And yeah, it's sounding like we're pretty much a lock for an international flight likely to Cancun, Mexico, or maybe San Jose del Cabo. So that's really exciting. I think it's going to be a great addition to the airport. Not just the international capability, but also for all the general aviation and cargo flights. That'll be super helpful. In addition, just having another jet bridge. You've probably seen the renderings already, but Alpha 2 is going to be repositioned in favor of this gate. So I'm excited for that, and that should be really, really awesome. The new air traffic control tower, it's been a while since I've got the film update, as you can tell, so the list continues. The new air traffic control tower is going to be absolutely fantastic. They have I think they have the final design, or they at least have really cool renderings at that, and I think they are going to go out to bid. If you don't know what bidding is Bidding's when you go to find a contractor to build a, whether it's a building or air traffic control tower, pretty much construct whatever you're building. So that would be a control tower, FIS facility, whatever it is. So that's what contracting is. So when I say go out to bid, that's what I'm referring to there. So they're going out to bid for that in November, I think, and they're hopeful to start construction as early as Q1 2024. So hopefully that will be underway. It's time for a new tower, so I'm looking forward to that. Some of the hidden developments that didn't really get talked about during or one hidden topic that hasn't got announced any yet because they're still getting the final details kinked out. But at Aviation Day, it was revealed that new wayfinding will be coming to the airport. The current wayfinding isn't bad, but this new wayfinding will certainly be much more enhanced and have much more modern vibes and easier to wayfind. That's kind of the purpose. It's going to be similar to what Denver and Charlotte have. I can't remember Charlotte having it, but I haven't been there in 5 years, so that's why I'm assuming I haven't seen it yet. But Denver, I can certainly relate to, and even like Austin. It's that yellow design. I'll try to put a render up on the screen if I can remember to, or if I do remember to. I can remember to. It's just if I, have the chance to add it because of how busy I am. Anyways, the new wayfinding will be really cool, so that will be very exciting, and I'll document that in upcoming real-life videos at Tulsa, which I have a bunch of. I filmed a couple of real-life airport updates and have a bunch of cool content there, so including Aviation Day, as I was referring to, so expect that soon. Let's shift over to Terminal B. We've looked at A long enough. Okay, over to Terminal B, and so wayfinding's coming, so that's very exciting. And we'll have the new airport sign, as I previously referred to in some previous updates. They're getting close on that, so I think they're working towards that for a project in 2024. The Home 2 Suite Hotel finally is getting really close. I've watched its progress. I have a bunch of pictures I'll probably document and make, it's kind of like the FSD parking garage. But nevertheless, it's made some great progress, and they're aiming to have that operational by very early October. So we're talking about with less than a month. At least that was the last update I got. That could have changed, but I'll be there in a couple days. So I'll certainly report on the findings in the following update and give it a big shout out once it opens, and maybe even stay the night there once just for fun. But we'll see. Maybe there'll be a time where it works. So that'll be a nice compliment to the Claritin Inn they have on property too. So 2 airport properties now. And last but certainly not least, for what I have, the July numbers got exposed a little bit early. They've been doing them in intervals of 2 for months. So May and June came out together, and I'm sure July and August will come out together. But the July numbers did get exposed. July was around 290 to 95,000. The graph, you couldn't literally tell, but it was very, very elite. It was certainly well over 2022 by probably about 6 or 7%. It was like 20 or 25,000 over July, and then August, we don't know. August just concluded, so I'm sure we'll find out in the future. So I'm looking forward to that, and that'll be really fun. So that'll be absolutely awesome. So looking very forward to that. So yeah, very busy. I'll probably make a more in-depth video on Tulsa movements at some point, whether that's like a monthly news series or how I want, maybe quarterly news, that might work well. But again, I keep talking. You probably notice how I keep talking about all these videos I want to do. And unfortunately, as of late, I've not got the chance to do them just because of how busy I've been and everything that's been going on. I talked about this pretty extensively in the Midsummer Channel update and also the end of the Albuquerque update this month. But long story short, travel has pretty much, I had a bunch of opportunities all come out at once, and all of them were too good to say no to. So I have all these travel opportunities that I took advantage of, and that led to not being home very often. It's getting better. I have a couple more extensive weekends here, and then I'll finally have a chance to breathe and get back to normal reality here. So looking very forward to that for the channel, and then we'll add some more weekend trips somewhere in the plans. And obviously just keeping balance. This summer just kind of went upside down and all around when it came to opportunities, and like Oshkosh, for instance, that was the big one. But obviously we had a family trip, 2 of them I should say, actually, rather, that came up, so that was a portion of it. And then one coming up this upcoming weekend, that was the price was way too good. I just couldn't say no for the opportunity. And then there's another one coming up that all of you will get to see as well. So I did not intend for this video to be so long. I knew it was going to be, but I tried to consolidate it. It just doesn't happen around here. This mat is just super cool, and I hope you got to see it throughout today's airport update. The only addition I made to anything here was that I used a fine point Sharpie to paint the, or rather I should say, design the skylight, the blue inside you see, that was a Sharpie. that was just blank previously, so I was like, no way, there's no reason to have that if we're not going to represent it the right way. So that's why I did that. Everything else is really great here. It's an awesome terminal. Check out the previous video. I'll kind of just take you around for a little bit of a tour here. The iPad's not great quality, or I would, you know, go a little more in detail on it, but you can certainly get a gist here of what it looks like. It's really, really awesome. These pieces also came in since the video that I made there. This one unfortunately got turned around, so hopefully I'll be able to get a replacement piece there. And then this one is fully correct, which is awesome, even though it's going to be demolished because the international terminal is going to go right there. Not to mention the parking lot, super cool. That's awesome. And I'm hopeful to get an expansion piece to it at some point, just so expensive. The iPad does go 0.5. How about that? Just really grainy, considering that there's no light. So maybe, there we go. That's a little bit better. So anyways, I really hope that all of you enjoyed today's airport update. September's a really great month here at Tulsa, not only the Breeze flight, but just everything going on. It's a really active airport, really significant movements. You know, you can say what you would like about public art and wayfinding and all those various small details, but they really add up in the long run, and it's certainly super awesome. And can we get Tulsa with the sunset? Can we do it? I think we can. That's fantastic. That's what we love to see right there. That's awesome. So yeah, get Tulsa with the sunset this evening. That's what we love to see. I know there's a sticky note out there, but see, Southwest just doesn't look right there. I'm sorry, it's hard to comprehend that. But yeah, beautiful sunsets and looking awesome. I apologize about all the crap over there. It's a reality, isn't it? But at least you got to B29 and go with it and everything else in between right there. So that's of course very, very nice. So I really hope all of you enjoyed today's airport update. Sorry that it was probably over an hour. It was a long one today. But we got a bunch talked about, and I'll try to make some more, you know, individual videos like I did for the airport mat, obviously, but also for, you know, Tulsa news, because that was, you know, 20 minutes of this. So, but the byproduct of being gone all summer and pre-recording a bunch of videos. So what can you do besides enjoy it and talk about it when you can? So, but expect a bunch more. Once it calms down here in October, then we'll really get the channel back where I'd like it. It's been tough. It's really got to me that I haven't been able to hang out with my models, obviously, make videos, which, you know, from the outside looking in, might not be that big of a deal once you, you know, to some people, but for me, obviously, and it's a huge part of my life, you know, you realize really quick how much you miss it. So, and that was a prime example of, this summer, you know, obviously the opportunities were amazing and it was beyond worth the sacrifice, but man, it was tough. It was tough. I really missed the airports. I really did. It just gave me a better opportunity to appreciate them even more, which obviously I did and significantly did, but it just gives me a whole new level of appreciation when you don't get to be around them all the time. Obviously college did that last year quite a bit, but this was even more than college over this summer, especially July. July was quite the month. I think I was gone for, I think I was gone for 21 out of the 30 days. It was certainly a very, very busy month, but nevertheless, what can you do besides continue to embrace the process and make it happen? So August was too. I was gone for over half of August. So the good news is we're getting back into a good routine here. Got a couple more big trips coming up, so we'll take care of those and then have some fun with it. It sounds like the trips are a chore. They're not. It's just, you know, obviously for the channel, it has an influence on it. So sorry that the audio wasn't great for the last half of this video. What can you do when your phone dies? It's reality. It's life. Just have some fun with it. I'm sorry, I'm about gone on the voice. So I'll go ahead and conclude this. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Trust the process. Do what you love and love what you do. My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon as Redriveraviation is signing off.